I think we've got a pretty divided fan base right now. It's been positive, negative, toxic, you name it, a roller coaster of emotions within the past, I mean, let's be honest, week. Everybody's been on edge. How do we feel about what just happened?
I think the thing that kind of rattles me is like whoever was like, I don't know, it's the one Twitter account that I've seen that pretty much is like Mark Bergevin. Like the guy knows everything. And this kind of Dvorak trade has kind of been talked about for the last week. And I kind of thought, okay, maybe they're grasping at straws a little bit. But it's crazy how social media knows more than anybody at this point, right?
Yeah, definitely. Shaner?
Yeah, I'm excited. You know, I look at Christian Dvorak's stat sheet to my right. He's been tearing it up. You know, he was one of the best players on Arizona last season. Granted, it's not a big team, but then again, he was one of the best players. He put up some great numbers. He was a fantasy beast. I remember someone picked him up in the league, and he was tearing it up. So, you know, I'm excited to have him. He's going to fit well. He's going to have some great wingers. Looking forward to it.
But we've got, like, he's a solid contract too, if we're taking a look at it that way. He's got 4 years left at 4.5. I think it's a solid steal. And like you said, he's been tearing it up in the OHL. Arizona's not the biggest hockey market, but coming up to Montreal, where you're coming off a Stanley Cup Finals run, you've got a team that's pumped to get back there. He's going to be playing with between two great teammates, that's for sure. So I think it's a good signing for us. And what we gave in return, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you got to look at, you know, like some people, you know, it's half and half. I've seen on social media today, like some people, they don't like, okay, maybe we give up a 11th or 12th overall pick, and okay, we give up a first and a second. But you got to look around, like you got to pay to get good players in this league. You know, free agency, you got to pay to get them. And if you're trading for a good center, a good young center who's, you know, what is he, 25? Is he 25, 24?
Yep,
25. Like, you know, you got to give up something good to get him. And if he comes in, you know, look at his numbers last year. And what I love is he's been consistent. Like he's consistently mid-30s and obviously not playing on the best team. No, you know, no disrespect to Phoenix, but, you know, he's not playing with some of the talented wingers that he's going to get here. Some of the power play looks he's going to get here. You look at his year last year, he has 17 goals in a shortened season, playing on a better team, some better players. He gets himself into 25 range. Like, you know, at the number that you're paying him, that's an incredible steal for what I think he can bring. So I think you got to be excited about it, you know, all things considered.
Yeah. I'll be happy if he's a solid 20 goal scorer right now. I'm more than satisfied with that, because you're taking a look at how he is on the power play. He's got 8 goals just last season on the power play, 51.1% or 0.9% on his faceoff. So he's known to be great on faceoffs too. I think it's just a great ad. It's going to be solid, and he's being underestimated. Everybody's butthurt that we lost KK. I get it. It's kind of a mixed emotions of we don't know what could have been. I think that's the emotion right now is what if he turns out to be the player we all thought he was going to be right away. That's where everybody's torn right now, right?
But then again, Don Waddell came out today saying that KK is going to start on the left wing.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of that move. I don't know about you guys, but I don't like that. KK is a center. He needs to develop with good wingers by his side. Putting him on the wing, likely on the second or third line, is not going to do much for him. I mean, if you put him up with Aho, let's say you do an all thin line, you know, him, Aho, and Teravainen, that could be good. But then again, you have Svechnikov on the team. You know, he's clearly your number one left winger. So, on Carolina's side, I'm not liking it, but for KK, you know, he's getting the bag. He's set right now. He's had a tough summer with his dad getting cancer and all that. But this is, you know, you got to be happy for the guy itself. Like he's getting $6 million, you know, pretty good.
Yeah, he doubled what he probably would have got, you know, had he stayed in Montreal. And I think, you know, just for what he's gone through the last couple of years on a personal like standpoint, I think it's probably the best move for him. You know, it's kind of been an up and up. I think from the start they made a mistake. You know, he should have went back to Europe and played, or you know, he shouldn't have played in the NHL when he did. But that's a story for another day that we can talk about. But I agree with you, Shane. I don't know if being on the wing is the best for him, but you got to figure they had this conversation before they signed the offer sheet. You got to figure, his agent and him, and they're having some conversations about, okay, this is where I see you fitting. Okay, it's great you're taking $6 million. He's going to sign that every day of the week, but they must have had some conversations about, okay, we want you to play on the wing. And when I heard that today, I was a little confused too, because I think, I think he's probably better down the middle. It's probably better suited for him. I just think he's much better in the middle. But we'll see, man. When you talk about that all Fin line, that's a pretty dang good line. And you're going to get a lot of looks playing there. So I maybe he's like, okay, if I get a chance to play with those guys, I'll play wherever you want, because you're going to get a lot of good looks.
Yeah.
Because if you look at their center depth, Carolina's pretty stacked. They got obviously Aho on the first line. I'd keep Trocheck on the second. He was fantastic last season. And then you got Jordan Stahl, who's their captain, and had a great year as well on the third line. So KK would be on the fourth. So, I mean, I get why they put him on the wing, but then again, he's a center. Who knows?
If it doesn't work out on the wing, if he doesn't work out on the wing, they're going to have to shove him at center. And, I mean, do you take Aho and Svechnikov and push him down to put KK up? Probably not.
No.
So, it's going to be interesting.
6.1 for a fourth line center. If you look at it that way, it's insane.
I think, yeah.
Because I got a few stats here earlier today where you got McKinnon making 6.3, Marchand's making 6.12, KK 6.1, Barkov 5.9, and Zibanejad 5.3. So it's mind blowing when you take a look at it. I mean, good for the kid. He went where the money was. Hats off to him for doing it. Obviously, most players would do it, like you said before. For sure. So it's just insane when you look at it that way. But like, he's competing on contract level with Nathan McKinnon.
Yeah, that to me is just like McKinnon's a conversation for a whole nother day too. Like, that's just you're I get you want to win the Stanley Cup, but come on, bud. Like, you got to get what's coming to you at some point. Like, you watch your teammates, watch Landeskog, you watch Rantanen cash in. They're all making way more than you. They didn't like, we talked about last week when it was like, okay, if KK comes back in the locker room, is it going to be an issue? Like, at $6 million, no, it wouldn't have been an issue. But for me, if I'm Nate McKinnon, I'm pretty pissed off that I took this and everybody that's coming behind me is taking way more. So that's weird. That's really weird to me. But
it was fairly
to be on that level, there's a lot of pressure on him. But being a third overall pick, he's had that pressure since he came in, 3 years ago. So I honestly think he's going to handle it really well. I think he's going to play really well there. I honestly wish the best for the guy. He's still so young, and like you said, Nick, I think that's why people are so like, okay, half the people are like, yeah, this is the best move ever. We should have never matched it. And then half the people are like, hold on a second here. This could have been our number 2 behind Nick for the next 10 years had he developed the way everybody expected. So it's the unknown. Yeah. It's always the unknown that gets you, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I know we were talking about how it feels to, if you came back into the locker room and made so much more money and the offer sheet. Have you ever played with anybody who got offer sheeted, came back? Was there any tension in a locker room? Do you see it being a potential problem? Because I know Nick had said last week, he's like, we good for him for taking him on, but would it be an issue?
I honestly don't think so. The only guy that I would have been around that had the offer sheet was Ryan Kessler. He had an offer sheet from Philly, and I got there a couple years after. And the guys would joke about it. Like, he named his boat offer sheet at his summer house, and it was like painted in Philadelphia. It was painted in Philadelphia
that's hilarious. Colors.
Like, they loved it.
Wow.
He was like offer sheet, and it's in Philly colors. And it's like, it's crazy. Guys laugh about it. Like, when I said that, I think people thought I was joking, but it's, when it's inside that locker room and you don't have to put on a show for anybody, like, everybody wants everybody to get paid. And I know some people, I got in a couple of battles on Twitter last week where people were like, oh, it's all about the money. It's all about the money. And it's like, okay, first of all, like, it is a job, but like, you have to get paid. You can only make so much money for so long. And that's the number, like, I'm sorry to say it, that's the number one factor where, guys, do you think KK signed there because he's like, wow, I really want to play in the left wing? He's like, no, he took $6 million and he saw the potential, to play really well and make a lot more. But I'm trying to think of it. Who else? I mean, when I was younger and Dustin Penner signed his offer sheet, he was pretty much throwing a party for everybody in Winnipeg when he signed that one. So that was a pretty funny one. And
go with
everybody,
it.
I mean, I didn't play with him in the dressing room, but I was training with him in the summer and stuff, and it was a pretty big deal. So, it's part of the business, and you definitely can't blame the guy for that.
So I got a question for you guys and for the comment section as well here. When we saw the offer sheet initially, we're like, okay, this is clearly a jab at the Aho thing, and it's just trolling Montreal and all that, trying to make us overpay for KK and whatnot. But now they actually got him. They have to pay him. Do you guys think it was actually a troll, or they were actually going for KK? They actually think KK is worth $6 million?
Dale, I'll let you go.
Yeah, good question, buddy. When you see Waddell talk about how he tried to trade for him before, obviously it's a little bit of a troll job. I like I said last week, I honestly think their owner was kind of like putting a stamp on it, like, we're not going to be pushed around anymore. We have the money, we're going to spend it. Yeah. And I honestly think it's partially Waddell truly believes in him. He was trying to trade for him. They wanted to put an offer that they felt was solid enough that they could actually steal him and take him. And they probably feel they overpaid a little bit, I'm sure. But if that's what it took to get yourself a center, and again, like if he comes in and rips it up and scores 20 goals, and has 45 points, like I don't think anybody's arguing, $6 million. Okay. But he's 21 years old. Like I just think, again, I'm a big KK believer, and I honestly think I think he's gonna have a big year. I think he's gonna score some goals, and but I think it's gonna, in my eyes, I think both players are gonna have big years, and Dvorak's gonna be unreal in Montreal. People are gonna love him. He's gonna love playing there. KK's gonna have a good year, and he'd be like, okay, both teams won. I truly believe that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, the only way I guess that would change anything down the line is if he does have, I guess, an off season. Do you keep him in the long run, or do you flip him and try to trade him somewhere else? I'm talking about KK here, like Carolina wise, because he's, like you said, he's got tons of pressure. So let's say he doesn't perform to that 6.1 million, has the same type of year he had this year. Do you say, well, you know what, we'll give him another shot, kind of like Montreal's been doing, or you just flip him back and you end up losing? And
yeah, very good point. I don't know. I think they're all in, and they're hoping he has a big year and it doesn't come to that, and they can have, sign an extension with a lower AAV and a little longer term, and hopefully it works out for them. It's going to be really interesting. It's great. This is perfect content for our show. So I'm glad stuff like this happens, so we can actually have good things to talk about. And
thank you, Bergie.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And we have it divided. And let's talk about Burge for a second here. One of my favorite guys to talk about. How about the fact that, he announces this and then he announces the trade right away? Like, is his ego so big that he couldn't get over the fact that he lost and he couldn't keep KK, and he just had to have another move up his sleeve? Like, what do you guys think?
I think he handled it well. I think that's the only way you can do it. You fight fire with fire. The Canes have been taking the spotlight for the past week, and Burge is like, get out of my way. My time to shine. I'm going to make this trade. How about that? Have fun paying him $6 million. I got myself a nice little second line in the center here. So I think he did well. He didn't have a press conference, did he? I don't think so.
I think it's
It's
tomorrow
only
at
a matter.
1.
Okay. I was going to say it's only a matter of time before.
Because he should have one. That's going to be interesting.
He needs to.
From my point of view too, I mean, I completely agree what you guys are saying, but I also think it was very smart of him to turn around and say, I know we're not going to match this. Can we afford to do it, first of all? Or can we be smart, flip him right away and replace the hole in the middle that we're missing right now? Like, I mean, the picks are great and stuff, but that's going to be in the long run. You need a fixer-upper right now.
Right.
Because if not, it's,
And if you, like, who else are you going to get out there? Like, I was looking around and I thought, okay, Dvorak makes sense. When all the rumors came out last week, I was like, okay, this makes sense.
Yeah, there was Hurdle that was rumored as well.
I mean, that would have been a serious. Yeah.
That was the top contender, obviously, on everybody's list. But moving him, like, how much is he would have cost you a lot more than what we paid for Dvorak.
Oh, for For sure. For
So
sure. Hurdle's
can
pretty
you
elite.
afford? Can you afford to give a prospect? Can you afford to give a current player? Like, you're trying to fill a gap. Do you want to empty more?
Right. And when you look at the state of Montreal right now, like they're not a rebuilding team. So you have
No.
to get a guy that can play and he's good right now. And I think
Yeah.
if you're saying, did we make our team better today? It's 100% a resounding yes. Like, you know, for the next year, you've made your team better, regardless of what KK does. And Berge, you know, who knows how much longer he's going to stay in the job. You know, he's talked about he's worn down and this and that. So he wants to win right now. And he makes to me, he gets a pretty good player who's going to flourish in Montreal, and you replace the whole, you know, if you were willing to go into the season, you thought your team was good with KK at number 2. Now you have this guy. I think you upgraded. So I think you got to feel good as a Montreal fan.
The main thing I'll say is what you're getting at a Dvorak is one thing that you've been looking for in KK the whole time, and that's consistency. You guys, I think it was Dale said it himself. If you're getting one thing out of this player that you want more than anything else, consistency. So if that's what we get in every facet of the game that you guys mentioned earlier, all the stats, then it's a win. So I think I'm finally excited for next season after having a chance to unplug, because we had a long season, if you guys don't remember.
It was a perfect beginning to the Habs Tonight show. We had the best run we could possibly have.
Absolutely. We got to keep it going this year.